go, God, come on in here. And you know what God told me, whispered, and then shouted? Divorce your ego. I literally filed for divorce that day for my ego.
Wow.
And it felt so freeing. And by the way, wants to stay married. Here I am. Remember that time in the back seat? Here I am, Craig. Oh,
right.
Oh, hey, you got a couple Emmys. Oh, I was there for that. This beats the divorce from my ex-wife.
Which one? Wasn't there a couple dozen? Or
Did you really? Yeah.
Nah, I'm just playing. Hey, it's Scott Brandon Hoffman, a.k.a. Brandon AF, and this is the Mostly Conscious Late Night Show. And we got a crazy man in the green room tonight, and I mean that in the best way ever. So we'll find out who that is just after this. Almost live from the internets, it's the Conscious Late Night Show with your host, Brandon AF, with tonight's special guest, Craig Shoemaker. Brandon AF. Yeah, that's me. Craig Shoemaker. This dude, we go way, way, way back, and I think we went back one time. But other than that, it's amazing. We're like best buddies as far as I know. He's a top 100 comedian. At least that's what it says on his website, so I'm not going to argue. He's an Emmy award-winning producer. He's all over the TVs. I don't mean the tube of the YouTube. I mean the TVs. He's been in showbiz for like 30 years. He's the love master. He's funny as fuck, basically. Let's just get onto that. So let's welcome him to the show. What's up, my brother? Mr. Shoemaker in the house.
I knew you when you weren't the AF, by the way.
That's true.
You were just
That's true.
You're Brandon ASIS.
Yeah.
Brandon as is. But now you're Brandon as fuck.
Yeah, right. Or whatever AF,
I had no idea. You went up a few levels.
I went up a few levels. I've been watching a lot of your videos, so that's what happened to me.
Have you become the love master yet? That's what happens when people watch me.
Yeah, I have. I actually
every guy tries to do the love master. And many births have happened after my show. Children are conceived. Every guy tries to go home and do the love master.
Yeah.
And a lot of.
Speaking of the love master, all right, no, not the love master. Actually, one of my favorite. Love master is that's like your signature thing that brought you into the craziness. But I love one of my favorite things you did was Datitude, and I forgot to show a clip, so I'm gonna show a quick little clip. I think this is from Datitude. If it's not, then it's funny anyway. I'll be right back. Oh, there's no video. Never mind. We're not going anywhere. So
good. I can't watch myself anyway.
Yeah, that's all right. I know,
especially when it was years ago when I looked younger. So
I feel better.
Like that. I just keep it here. I'll remain in denial about my age.
That's only, was it like 10 years ago or something like that? Believe me, I'm right with you.
It's about 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I'm trying to remember, I remember the place we met. We met somewhere in the Valley, and it was at some kind of some kind of lunch dive place or something like that. And I just remember you were cracking me up the whole time and a bit stressed out.
I was stressed out, or you were stressed out?
Probably both of us, but I know because you have so much going on all the time. You got so many projects going and things like that, and I think you're just you got a lot going on. What kind of projects are you working on right now?
I still do. I have TV shows.
Yeah,
I've got. I'm in the middle of post on one of them, selling another one, making another one. So I had to do a big pivot during the pandemic because comedy pretty much got shut down.
Yeah.
Bro, I was literally doing outdoor shows. One of them was Harrison Ford's backyard from when he raised his kids in Venice. And there was a lap pool between me and the audience. They were on the other side of the lap pool. So I all I could picture is him yelling at his kids, "Do another lap, damn it. You call that a breaststroke?" That's all I kept pictures. Harrison Ford yelling at his kids. But it was just so surreal, the whole thing during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So, the biggest pivot I made, though, is I coach people now on how to use humor in your life, in everyday life. And it's so magnetic. It's you can relieve stress when you have humor. People love you more. They want to be around you more. Think about your best friends. I mean, I'm friends with my buddies from kindergarten and third grade. It's people that I laugh with. You share laughter. So I've been coaching a number of people. I just saw a guy in Ohio this past weekend, and Oh, by the way, imagine this, right? So he has his first laugh fest. He's a real estate agent, but he wants more laughter in his life. So
Nice.
for the Shriners, he puts on this big laugh festival. Me and Caroline Ray fly in, and I get a call from Dave Chappelle when I'm there. And I have the day off. So imagine you're this guy, and he and his wife end up at Dave Chappelle's house for a party. So he's at dinner sitting next to Jon Stewart. And then we go
Good
backstage
Lord.
as Jimmy Fallon leaps into my arms. I hadn't seen him in years. And it's crazy in a cornfield in Ohio at Chappelle's compound. And he's got this, summer camp thing. He gives me this amazing intro. He's a legend and all that. Then he improvises with me. And then off of his private plane, Chris Rock just joins the whole team. So
just another get together with a couple homies.
So I can't promise this to all the people that I coach, but he got a little extra bonus from his 8 weeks
Holy
with me.
Shit! Like I know you hang out with some cool people, and I was like, those kind of parties are pretty fun. I remember. Do you know Ed Krasnick? You know Ed Krasnick?
Yeah, I remember him. Sure.
Yeah, I remember him telling me, he's like, he goes over to I forgot the guy that executive produced Everybody Loves Raymond, and they go over there, and it's him and Raymond and all these people, and they're just like watching movies and hanging out, and I'm like, it's a different world. It's pretty amazing. How's Chappelle in real life? He's got to be amazing.
Unbelievable, man. I mean, he literally bought this town. It's called Yellow Springs, Ohio. And then the next day, by the way, we went over there and, hanging out. It's like, what a world we live in. We're sitting there in his backyard. Everybody had IVs, like vitamin IVs. We're just sitting there chatting away. Well, funny, though, the rest of them, they're all like smoking cigarettes and joints while they're getting the IV. So
yeah.
I guess that cancels everything out.
That's why I said this is the Mostly Conscious Late Night Show. We have a great Mostly Conscious guest tonight.
Well, I was not smoking.
No, I know. I know.
I was only doing the vitamin drip. Listen, we might have. Listen, comedians are probably some of the most conscious people on the planet. When you think about it, I tell people who are like, I have comedian friends who are atheists. I said, well, maybe you're not an atheist. Like, what do you believe in? Well, I believe in being good. I believe in kindness.
Ricky Gervais, right?
Laughter, right?
Yeah.
So I want to say to them, or I do say to them, you are spiritual because God is truth to you. What if God is just truth? And we are truth tellers. We're curtain pullers.
Yeah.
And this is one of my goals for a while now, even when we talked last, is there. I'm in the spiritual community. I'm one of the members of the Association of Transformational Leaders, and I've been around all of it. Agape and blah blah.
Yep.
And too serious.
100%.
Everybody thinks you need to do this. Need to say the certain things, always. Oh, it's always
have reverence. Always have reverence.
Yeah, ancient Sanskrit. It has to be that. It can't be just like, hey, yo, bro. Hey, bro. You feeling good today? You feeling light? So my goal is, and then comedians are too cynical though. They think there's no God and stuff like that. I say God is love. What if it's that? So anyway, I'm trying to build a bridge from the woo woo to the ha ha. That's my goal. Is the woo-woos need to lighten. I have my series, actually, my podcast is called Enlightened Up. Yeah. And my slogan is, we all need to enlighten the fuck up. Because all of us are stuck in this space, especially me from Philly, living in California. I'm stuck between namaste and kiss my ass. And
I'm right with you, man. We're like identical.
Right.
It's the same shit. I'm Chicago born and raised. My family's in Philly. And I'm like, and I've been doing this work for 25 or 30 years. And I'm like, that's why I created this show, actually, is because I was looking to build that bridge where we could bring the cool, hip, and fun to self-help and spirituality and the heart and soul to Hollywood. It's like, we need to it doesn't mean we sit around in our white robes all day and just chant and only talk about totally everything's got to be so serious, because laughter's the highest freaking medicine we got. Yeah.
Yeah, it's to me, it's a vibration that is underappreciated, devalued, and everybody's coming after comedians. If it starts with the FCC, it always has been, but then people are just so insane with trying to go after, and it's, I posted about Dave Chappelle this week, and this woman goes, he's mean to people, he makes fun of people. I go, what do you think comedy is? We make fun of ourselves, we make fun of everything. That's the whole idea. If you can't make fun of yourself, what's wrong with you? And I said, what joke did he tell? She couldn't name it. What joke did he tell that makes you, I will never watch a Dave Chappelle again? I made a comment once about Trump.
Mm-hmm.
A guy goes, I will never pay another dollar to see you. I said, well, how sad for you. He told me I was his favorite comedian, until I said one line about Trump, who also, by the way, was on a Comedy Central roast, volunteered to be on there. That's right before he was president. So really, now we have to just revere this guy and treat him like a deity, and we can't make fun of him. And you say that you're going to cancel at your own pleasure over something you don't understand. You have no interest in understanding more of it. This is the thing: is people just stop at a certain level. I tell people when I coach groups as well, get off the news. Don't watch the news. There's no reason to watch the news, because that's who programs you. That's who programs you into this this whole attack on
low vibration, division, separation. It's just a bunch of crap.
It's the only thing that it's about. It has no other agenda. Keep you in fear. And then they go to the drug commercials that follow. That handles the anxiety that they just gave you.
Exactly.
That's the whole cycle. And then the insurance to handle when you're on your way out.
It's insanity. This world is so insane. And I think you brought up such a great point around, I mean, we've always had the problem of people being too serious, especially like in the spiritual and self-help community. And it's like, oh, everything's holy. Everything's holy. Even taking a dump is holy. Like, I hate to say that, but it's freaking true.
Well, you don't hate to say it. You say it.
No, I say it. It's true. And I think,
don't apologize for it.
Yeah, it's like everything is holy. Like even anything on the street, garbage. Like I've learned to understand garbage is holy. Like everything's holy because it's here. It's made by the Creator. It's made by the One. Like whatever you want to call it. Exactly. And I think that somehow it's gotten worse and worse and worse, probably because of the news, probably because of all the propaganda going on and all this stuff like that. And, there's become this thing where people are like, if you say a peep about this or that or this person or us or whatever, we have no sense of humor. We're going to take you down and cancel you. It's like, I love all beings, but it's like no one runs the show here. It's like God runs the show. We're all individual pieces of that. Like we don't need to sit around and have like someone holier than thou that's not acting like God to go out and try and like fuck with everybody that's out here and take us down. And I think that's why you see people like Gervais and Chappelle. Like Chappelle's the GOAT because he's not afraid to say what he wants to say. You can attack him all you want, and that's it.
And what's wrong with people that they're not attacking pollutants, people that destroy our, corporations that destroy our food? Not a word about these corporations, not a word, but you're going to go after these individual comedians. Now Chappelle definitely does have a lot of money, but what about all the rest of the comedians that don't have this kind of money? You want to cancel them out for what purpose? They're doing the job like lemmings that the corporations and the higher ups, the 1%, that's what they want them to do. This is why in The Wizard of Oz, he's behind the curtain, and he provided this limited space for them to live in, where they're ha-ha and a couple of la-di-das.
Right.
I've got a barber shop. Shut up, I'm good. I got a horse of a different
don't
color.
Think too much.
I got my carriage, and then don't look outside of here because there's great fear out there. Yeah, and we'll keep on making sure that you stay in fear and you stay. And I've got you protected. I've got your medicines. I've got your CDCs. I've got your answers. And don't you dare. And now they're into this misinformation thing. If you have anything outside of their narrative, and it's just insanity.
Yeah, it's what it is. I mean, it's like this show isn't, I don't always like to go political on it because it's like I don't like to divide. I like to bring people together. However, at the same time, the last 2 years definitely, because this has been going on since the beginning of time, dude. It's like, that there's always been a dark force trying to control us through news and fear and control and keep us dumb and keep our third eye clogged up so we can't have intuition and see for ourselves and all that, and it's like, it's just, I think COVID was the great, it was the great opportunity to like open up and bust open a door, and now everything's out in the open for everybody to see. And I know you're great friends like with Mickey Willis, so it's like we're in the same territory. I'm in Austin now, so he's out here as well, and JP
Sears.
Wow, JP Sears and all those guys, so it's all good.
I want to tell you a story.
Yeah.
So I had a transformation with Mickey.
Okay.
And I hope that this helps people, because we do have this divide of right and left.
Yeah.
And I was as guilty as anyone of being way leaning left because of my empathy gene, and that's, the left tends to go there. There are certain topics like gun violence, and there's certain types of guns that I will never switch over. I will never switch over, and abortion, never switch over. But there are certain things that the left people would say, you're this, you're that, and I would argue with them. But now I'm getting it. So here's what happened with Mickey. And he's like a brother to me. And he's actually my sponsor in the Association of Transformational Leaders. He's one of my sponsors with Lynn Rose. And anyway, Mickey started to go have these postings that were not looking like part of our club. You know what I mean? If you're going to call the other ones followers, we are too. So, I mean, just let's not get in denial about that. Who are you following? You're following narratives, and you're, same tropes and same responses. So I used to tell the right, I don't like right and left, but if you will, I used to say, yeah, you're a follower, you're a lemming. And I'm going, so Mickey starts. So we had, I'm not exaggerating, 6 hour, I don't even know how my battery ran that on the phone, 6 hour argument, because he did go the whole other way.
Oh, no, I know he did.
I'm going, Mickey, come on, you got to be kidding me. And then I would talk about the environment. He goes, oh, Donald Trump is for the environment, blah, blah. And I have proof. Now, here's what I want to tell you, and anyone listening who wants to check out Mickey and his work. So we got into an argument, a screaming match. And I finally went, fuck you, motherfucker, all this. Yeah, I did. And he goes, that's the Craig Shoemaker that you really are. That's who you really are. You're a phony otherwise. And I said, no, Mickey, I was faking that. That was an act, but I just did. I did that for you, so that you have an understanding of, stop thinking you do know me, because he's trying to call me out on spirituality and all this kind of stuff, right? So hang the phone up. He unfriends me. That's it. Bye-bye, Mickey, for a year.
Wow.
But I am open-minded enough to say, what's he unpacking here? What is this information that he has? And be willing to see something that I don't want to see, because the left isn't always correct, or left isn't always right. So I started to explore this. I'm going, okay. And I reached out to him, and he said to me, every single one of his old friends has completely, said goodbye to him. They're completely gone. I said, well, how spiritual is that? And then I started to realize how intolerant the left is.
Yeah.
If you're going to go left and right. Intolerant, the spiritual people are intolerant, unforgiving, and they attack Mickey. And these are the same people that lauded him and, bowed at his feet practically, and elevating up on his campus in Ojai. And all same exact people. So who are you? So I had to say to myself, this whole pandemic, everything has happened. I'm in a spiritual rebooty call.
Yeah, rebooty call.
I'm rebooting, and that's part of my reboot. Is I definitely checked out Mickey's movie. I had him on my podcast. By the way, my podcast producer erased it. It's never been released.
Wow,
that's how powerful his message is. So strong, and people don't want to hear it. I don't even know where the podcast is. And boy, we went strong too. And we talked about this. We are now brothers again. Now I don't have to agree with my brother, and I can be suspicious and ask him questions, and I can still, come at it from that space, but an open space always. And that's what I would encourage anyone watching this. By the way, can you imagine how better the world would be if people, instead of choosing the news, they would go to you and me and our shows and shows like this?
Yeah.
And they would be addicted to that, because it's all addicted to being better, being more conscious, being more elevated, raising our vibration. That's what we're about, including doing it through laughter. That's the pathway.
Amen. Amen.
We want to take. Everybody's so damn serious and angry. Everybody's so angry. We have the solution for you, but people are so programmed, they really don't want the solution, unless it's really, really easy. It's a pill pop. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much to unpack there. First of all, I'm friends with Mickey too, and I had him on the show before as well, a couple of years ago actually. And I think really the big thing in there, because I'm sure some people that didn't make it this far in the replay are going to be like, got triggered with the cuss words, the swear words. Look, spiritual people swear, like we can swear. I think it's like learning to stop the division, the separation, the judging, and this is what's going to heal our planet, right? It's like the ability to laugh at our stuff, to laugh at our dramas, to laugh at our stories, to look at the seriousness of the world and find the light in it, and how we can bring the light instead of living. And I think the biggest challenge from a spiritual perspective, especially, is like, you know, I was always taught hanging out in the crap and in the fighting and in the resistance and in the hatred and in all that stuff. All it does is create more energy, hook you in, it feeds it, it builds it, it adds to it.
Absolutely.
When over here, if you can just look at it and say, I wonder what the opportunity, what's life trying to show me right now? What's COVID trying to show me? What's the breakdown of the government trying to show me? It's not about left or right. Left or right is separation. Like, you know, and I was the same way as you. Same way as you.
I'm centered. That's my party.
You're centered?
And I'm centered.
Oh, I thought you said you're centered or something.
No, I'm centered.
Yeah.
And that's the party that I belong to. It's my own party. We're individuals.
Yeah.
But we're the individuals as a collective. And how can we be part of a family? So here's what I would suggest to anybody watching this. If you're offended by a curse word, take a breath. Take a breath. Spiritus is a Latin word for breath. Take a breath and pause and think to yourself, really, what kind of impact does that have in the world? A word that only in this language that you've been programmed to believe is a bad word.
Yeah.
So think about that. It's a word. It's not an offensive word. It's being used. If I called you a fnifna, right?
I'm very offended by that right now.
I'm sorry.
I feel triggered because when I was little, I had somebody call me that when I was 5.
That's the F word. If that was my F word from my country,
yeah,
it would mean absolutely nothing to you. So step back, take a breath, and think, wow, that really was meaningless that they just cursed. They said words that I've been programmed to say, I must protest these words. You're a robot because the words don't mean anything to you. So for your own consciousness development, take the step back. I have this spiritus that I do all the time. It's that pause. And when you have that pause, it's unbelievable, the results, because then the divinity comes in, then the higher source comes in. So then I can't lie, cheat, steal, get over, get by. I can't do any of those things once the higher source enters. They keep us up here in the fear and the fight or flight, all that stuff. They keep you there, pissed off. You know, all of that happens because
it's low vibration.
That's your only response. That's the only response. There's somebody gets attacked. The response is never forgiveness, or it's never pray. It's never let's meditate together. It's never, and that's never the option.
Right. Or show any good news that actually lifts people up. That would be interesting, but that doesn't sell.
Exactly. So it's an insanity cycle that all you have to do is take that pause and step off and start reprogramming with shows like this, shows like mine, where we're irreverent.
Yeah.
You know, it's an irreverent approach, but it's real. It's real. Yeah. If you want to be authentic, it's not authentic. If you are protesting a curse word, that's not authentic. That's how you've been programmed, which is not authentic. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean anything to you. Nothing has ever happened to you because someone used the F word. Nothing has ever happened to you, but things have happened to you when your water's poisoned, your food has been poisoned. Those things are happening to you on a daily basis. Your air, all of this is going on a daily basis, and unconsciously we just accept. You see exhaust coming out of a tailpipe. It's okay. It's okay. Meanwhile, I never had allergies before. I'm starting to get allergies. I'm not upset. I'm not happy about this.
Yeah.
So that I will protest vehemently. Not someone say, a curse word. It's
no, you're on point. It's like the whole thing is everything is done. And again, I'm a big believer, that we also have a choice. Right now, the only reason that all this is happening in the world is all this time actually is because we've allowed it as a group consciousness. We've allowed the permission of the people in control to run things the way they have. And it's never really been for our highest good. It's always been
No,
for control and fear and power.
exactly. Yeah.
Both sides. Both sides. Okay. It's
Absolutely.
things are a little
That's
bit
why.
wacky now. They're a little bit out of whack with what's going on in the world, but we don't need to go into all that bit of it. But I think what I get at is like, I've always been sharing with people and teaching people, like, it's about, you just got to find your own soul, your own voice, listen to your own divinity inside you. That's where the truth will come out. But when you're just listening to and being bombarded by, the news channels and the media and the fear, whether it's, Fox News or CNN, it's all crap. It's it's going to make you feel like shit. And that's just the way it is.
There's nothing in there that's going to uplift you.
Yeah. So it's our choice, right?
You know what has no party? Mindfulness.
Yeah.
So if that's your party, a party of one, we're mindful, conscious, aware. I go to a thing every Sunday now. It's a sangha. It's a gathering place,
Wow.
and we talk about awareness. It's a Zoom, about 100 people, and all we talk about is solution. Everybody has the same problems. We all have the problems. They exist.
Yeah.
It's just, how do you approach them? How do you change the dynamics? You were saying vibration. How do you shift your vibration? And then what comes in, and this isn't airy fairy shit. We really have to be the solution, the centered party, the mindful party. And that's what, 100 people at a time, that's what we're doing on this Sangha. And that's what other people are doing, like you. And, you pass this new message out there. But here's the funny thing is, it's an ancient message.
No kidding. Yeah.
It's ancient. It predates carbon emissions. It predates all of this left and right. It predates the Whig Party. It predates everything. Is ancient wisdom. It's there for a reason. Let's learn from it.
Right.
Let's become more wise, not smart.
The party of the one. The party of the one.
The party of the one. And we are all one. We all have the same feelings. Everybody. It's just a matter of, I want to write a book, or I'm writing a book. What happens is, and I talk to my clients about this. I'm a psychic too, and and we all are, but I just happen to develop these powers a little more than most, And I saw this one woman, one of my clients, and I saw her in second grade, and I said, she's very serious, and I said, "You used to have pigtails, didn't you?" And she said, "Yeah." So I started calling her Pigtails. And I said, "And your name wasn't Beth, was it? It was Bethy." She says, "Yeah, it was." And so I want to bring back that child. So I now call her Bethy, and she smiles every time I say Bethy. She smiles.
Yeah.
A light comes in. But she was started at that point. The darkness came in. The parents take over, the faculty, whatever it is. So my book is called, children laugh literally 50 times more a day than adults do. And why is that?
50 times more.
We've been they're like 500
giggling,
times a day.
Giggling.
Adults are 20 times a day.
Right.
So I want to go catch the kids and that's authentic, by the way. Love, light, and laughter. That's our authentic self until they start saying, you do this, you get rewarded. You do this, I'll give you a pin, I'll give you an A, I'll give you a grade. So my book is called Get Out of Line and Into Alignment. If you get in alignment with your true divine source, and that's what you listen to, and they say things about comedy, we're the court jesters. I mean, even Hollywood, I am so upset with Hollywood. They gave Will Smith a standing ovation for assaulting a comedian, and we're already treated like jesters. There's no comedy category at the Oscars. Everything's more important. The same with the spiritual community. Everything's more important than laughter. What if laughter became at the top of the chain?
Yeah.
But and so how about wipe that smile off your face? What are you looking at? But don't be silly. All those things, those are the messages we got since we were kids.
I know.
It's not to laugh. It's to go just deify these leaders, and they're completely unconscious. They're selfish. And I say this I'm not just making blind statements here. It's true.
I know, bro. I'm right with you.
Look at the lawmakers, what they do, what they're motivated by. The lobbyists. There needs to be a laughter lobby. There needs to be a consciousness lobby.
Yeah.
There needs to be a mindfulness lobby. Imagine the world if this is the direction we took. If one person who's watching this, let's hope there's more than one. If one person's watching.
God, I hope so.
No, I just spend an hour just hanging out with you. I could have had lunch. So with you. So if just one person says, I'm going to take this track now. We're doing our job. I'm going to take this track. I've been on this track of fear, loathing. I've been on this track of response, reactions, these visceral reactions. We've been trained and trained and trained. That's why mindfulness is a practice. So what if I started practicing this and became, start doing your laughter lunges, your serenity squats. Approach it like you would a workout program and watch what happens. 100%. I have never in my life been this happy.
Yeah.
I've never been so happy, so filled with joy, so filled with purpose as now. And it came from, I left the left, I left the right, and I'm done. I'm done.
I love that. Both. I left the left, I left the right. See, that's the thing, because the minute you say you're on one side, and again, look, we have people we love. Like we love Mickey, we love JP, we love all these beautiful people. And what I've learned to say, I'm like, look, you speak truth, you speak some truth, everyone has some truth, but let's just love each other and let's come together and like have actual conversations, because we've been so triggered. And what you just said, that is the medicine, that is the work. And it's like everyone's looking for, let's go fight, let's duke it out. Oh my God, we're being attacked, spiritual warfare. Yeah. True. However, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to go fight?
True. It's only true based on perception.
Yeah,
everything's based on perception.
And where we want to live with our energy, and where we want to focus on solutions, how we want to come together. What do we want to innovate that's not going to be playing in that land of darkness and all this crap? And I think, I had, Sonia Choquette by chance?
No.
She's got like 28 books. She's like a big Hay House author on intuition. She's really funny and she's very feisty like you and me. And she gave me one exercise the other day, and I've been doing it again. And it's common sense. And I think you shared this with Dr. Aaron on Lala as well. It's like that, just this idea of going, and she said there's like this medicine right there that opens something up and literally brings you right back into your body and right back into your heart. And that frequency, living there, and then go do something. Yeah. Go do something you love. Go start work. Right. And what you just said, the joy, the passion. Like for instance, when this show starts, and I see that video of the intro of, like, I put the guest in there. It's not a fancy video, but it's a video I made to start with. And I watch my guest's face when they see that, and they're like kind of smiling and laughing. And then it comes on, and I hear the Brandon AF thing. This is joy to me. Like, this is part of it. And meeting and being with people like yourself and all these cool people that I get to hang out with. That is, you're aligned. You're aligned to your soul. You're doing your work. You're adding service. You're living in your joy and your gifts. And that's what will change the world. That's what will change people's lives. It's not like social media highlight reels and news, and it's just soul sucking, all this other stuff.
And stay open. I was open enough to Mickey Willis.
Yeah.
And you're talking about something that was really like a blast to me.
Oh yeah, it was a big
for him to say these things about, people that I had been attacking, it was rough to see. I want to share one little story with you. Please. on to me, sharing the stories is much more impactful than someone's theory. And I think it's another issue that we have in this world is everything's theoretical. Even I told you I'm stuck between namaste and kiss my ass. Even namaste is theoretical. People don't really know what it means. They go like this, or you hug heart to heart, or whatever it is. You really don't know what's happening. You don't know what laughter does to you.
Yeah.
You were just talking about the ha sound it's spiritual. It's hallelujah. Ha
Buddha Krishna. Allah God.
Aha. It's cleansing.
Wayne Dyer taught that too, I think, didn't he?
I don't know. I have to check it out, but I love Wayne Dyer. That's my kind of cat right there.
He's a good dude.
The best. I mean, I followed him for years, but what he did that I was about to say is and same with every leader. If it's Michael Beckwith, I always remember Beckwith. He pontificates sometimes. He's unbelievable. He's a master. But I remember mostly his stories that he tells that make him real. And this is also what I coach. So I remember Beckwith told a story about he was at a counter this is like 10 years ago. I still remember the story. He was at a counter and he was encountering somebody was giving bad service. And I was like, and he was pissed off. And I go, hey, that's me. I get pissed off. So you relate more to that than somebody saying, when you are
pissed off. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, when you are pissed off, this is what you should do.
Right.
Okay, now you're telling me what I should do. You're
Versus
not telling me how it worked for you. So here's a story I want to tell. My mom and I, rough go for a long time. She raised me by herself, and but I did all that I thought I could do to have her be like a quote good mom. And she did some pretty messed up stuff, So look, I said messed up, by the way. I'm trying to, to honor the curses.
We don't use the M word here.
I'm sorry if that offended anyone. Messed up. Just put another word in there in its place, and we'll move forward. Okay. So, I mean, some like betrayal stuff, like typical betrayal stuff. I'm going, wow, she just must hate guys. You know what I mean? And so I had her like labeled. We didn't speak for 6 years, and some pretty rough stuff to accept as a mother would do that to her son. So let's just go with that.
Yeah.
And one day, I found old CDs, and I always used to say, she never said I love you to me. I used to say that. That was my proclamation. I've done all I can. I've made my amends, and it's on her. It's, I'll be okay going to her funeral. You know what I mean? Like, all that kind of stuff. I said all these things to myself. And if anyone saw it on paper, what she did, then they would go, yeah, that's a crappy mother, right?
Yeah.
Right, here we go. So I found these CDs, and she used to call my radio show with a segment called What's Buggin' Barb. I'm howling laughing. Everyone listening to the show, she had a fan club. I brought my family. I go, come on, listen to Nana. She never even met one of my children. One she's only met, for a minute. Anyway, listen to Nana. Listen to who she is. And here's this funny, bright, self-deprecating person who just was a riot. And that was the moment. I went, oh my God. I am to be grateful for her. I am to be appreciative of her. I am to thank her because she gave me the greatest gift of all, sense of humor. What a gift. So no matter if she's doing these traditional non-mom things, and by the way, tough to be a mother when you're a single mother working as secretary, and we used to get evicted. I thought the word evict meant move. I thought they were the same word. Here's the eviction truck, mommy, and we pack up and move again. So that insecurity stayed with me. So a lot of her insecurity stayed with me. I swear to you, that moment. And she was coming out to California, coincidentally, and she was going to visit my ex-wife. That was another problem I had. She was focused on my ex-wife and those children with her, and nothing to do with my divine wife. So I said to my wife, I go, yeah, sure, we'll see her for each other. She's going to fit us in. Well, then I switched it. And I said, okay, we'll see her. And guess what happened? Farmer's market, laughter. She went over to my office, hung out. I drove her to the airport the next day. That wasn't in the plans. And from that day forward, God told me radical acceptance. And by the way, politically, she tends towards racist. She tends towards all the stuff that I'm against. Yeah. And when she starts, I start responding, and I go, oh,
yeah,
just smile, just breathe. It's okay. Move on. This is who she is. Radical acceptance of who she is. We love one another now for years, and we accept one another for years. I can't wait to call her. I'll probably call her after this, and we just laugh. We talk simple. I used to say, oh, she could talk about his movies. All right, so what? Talk about movies, and now now we're writing a book together called What's Buggin' Barb and Craig.
Get out. That's so epic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, and I read her letters on stage the other day, and it's a new part of my act because she's so freaking funny. People don't even think these are real letters. She's nuts in a fun way. I accept it. I hug it. I applaud it. And it's unbelievable to live this way. So I have a mom now for the rest of our lives, the rest of my life, the rest of hers. I have a mom that I never could have dreamed of before. And that I want to share that with people and say,
it's beautiful.
There's always hope if it's up to you to get into mindfulness, consciousness, radical acceptance. I go through this when I coach. I talk about laughter. Get to laughter. She and I laugh our asses off together. And I told her also, I said, Mom, I read your letters and you got big applause. She goes, really? And then she's like, so
She's
she's feeling great
excited.
about her. So she feels
Yeah.
great. Now she can't write another one.
I love
And
it.
all these funny things that bug her. And they even wandered towards politically incorrect. Matter of fact, she hates political correctness. She hates Hollywood. She calls me a latte liberal. Yeah, I know you latte liberals out there. But it's okay. It's okay. There's a perfect example of it's okay. I used to be on the left. I still lean a little that way, if you will. But it doesn't matter. Here we are having this conversation of commonalities. What do we have in common?
Isn't that the truth?
Something in common with everyone out there. You have something in common with.
Yeah. Isn't that it? Isn't that really the thing? Like all this stuff, it's like, it's like everyone I meet, I have friends on both sides. And it's like, it's weird that we even talk about both sides. For a while it was vax or unvaxxed, and it was right or left, and it was, conservative or liberal, or it's just all labels. It's just all labels.
That's exactly right.
What's the common theme? It's our hearts, it's our souls, it's our humanity. It's like that we're all little droplets of the one, and we forget that. And we're like, I have a quote somewhere I forgot where it was, that I wrote, that was like, it's like, I'm not here to talk with ego, I'm here to talk with souls. Like, I don't want to hang with egos.
Oh yeah,
mine included.
Listen, my guy, the leader of the Sangha, he called me one day. My psychic sense said, "This is not a good call." He used to compliment me all the time.
Yeah,
how funny, you're so funny. Da, da, da. And I said, "Nope, this one's not going to be it." And I answered that phone, and sure enough, he did an intervention on me. He says, "What's with your ego?" I went, oh boy. And it was I'm telling you, it was so hard to listen to. Yeah. And I wanted to attack back. I wanted to say, what about your ego? And by the way, he's got a huge ego. He's a very powerful guy. He doesn't matter where the message comes from. I listened, I breathed, and then he said something that killed me. He goes, other people say it. I'm going, oh no, who else? And I just kept breathing. I go, God, come on in here. And you know what God told me, whispered, and then shouted? Divorce your ego. I literally filed for divorce that day for my ego.
Wow.
And it felt so freeing. And by the way, wants to stay married. Here I am. Remember that time in the back seat? Here I am, Craig. Oh,
right.
Oh, hey, you got a couple Emmys. Oh, I was there for that. The old ego saying, well, you wouldn't have had that about, And then I'm going, no, I see you. I see you, ego. I'm not interested. Thank you very much. I'm going over to here to be of love, to be of service, to be of joy, to be of happiness, to be of purpose. Sorry, ego, because you're none of those things. And it's really cool, this divorce. Never did I think a divorce would be a good thing, but this certainly, this beats the divorce from my ex-wife.
Which one? Wasn't there a couple dozen? Or
did you really? Yeah.
Nah, I'm just playing. I was playing. It's like, I love that joke you have. You always talk about like your when you're doing a live show, it's like all the proceeds go to my ex-wife or something.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. You've got $1 million. Speaking thereof, there's two things that are flowing through. First of all, I love what you're saying. Like the whole divorce the ego thing is brilliant. It's not like making it wrong or saying it's stupid or it sucks. It's a limited part of us. It just doesn't need to be running the show, and that's the thing. But two things I want to remember. One was the sense of humor in the family with the crazy family, because I got to talk about that for a second. And then there was another part I want to talk about process a little bit too on the creative side. So in my family, I grew up with you would call it a typical American dysfunctional family. Like, everybody loved each other, but it was freaking crazy, nuts. Like it was like living with Archie and Edith. It was like, and it was a tough place to be. Like there was tons of laughter. Most of it was like torn and geared out at other people. More of that kind of stuff. But there was a lot of laughter in that house, and there was a lot of like heavy energy. So for me, I had to deal with like, I was trying to make people laugh all the time because it was so heavy. I felt scared with all what was going on. I had a rageaholic father who turned out to be amazing. But he didn't know how to deal. He had, they didn't have tools like this back in those days. Right. And so that was a rough place to be. But what I got is that there was always laughter in that house. And eventually, like as my parents aged, and both my parents are gone now, and I just remember those, like some of those last bits with them. And it was so beautiful. Like my My mom, so we had a caretaker for my dad who my mom did not like. My mom was a codependent kind of, beautiful. She was just all about helping everybody and serving everybody else. And she kept everything in her whole life. And when she got in her 80s and she got sick, she just started telling everybody off. Like all the shit came out, right?
Sure,
all
right.
the stuff that was there. And anyway, so we had this caretaker, and she was Jamaican. And my mom had just gotten home from an operation for her heart valve. And I forgot the lady's name, but she goes out to the middle of the room and she's like, I went back home to Jamaica and I walked out into the ocean and I raised my hands and I said to God, oh, it's so beautiful. Thank you, God. And then my mom looks up from her food and goes, if I was you, I would have kept walking. Like she wanted her, like, she just gave me those little jabs like that.
Oh, that's great.
And,
That's
and
great.
she gave my dad, she gave my dad, she always said, it's like, if I was you, I'd call Kevorkian. Like she would always find a thing. And my dad's always like, he had Parkinson's and he goes, oh, that Parker guy is back. Damn it. Like, so there was
That's
always
great.
laughter in the house.
And
It helped.
It's such an interesting perspective. And you said something earlier when you were just talking about dysfunctional.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. That's
Yeah.
another label.
It's a label. I just caught it.
It's another label because
Darn it.
who does function? And I want to tell you, the ones that allegedly function,
Are
these
the worst.
straight on families,
Yeah.
there's no laughter, there's no joy. They're so straight, they're so image conscious. So your mom telling the truth, which is what comedy is, which is what laughter is, just nothing but revealing of the truth.
Yeah.
How wonderful is that, as opposed to just her holding it in, her just leaving it right there. Just this boring, I have a bit in my act also about ADD. I said, we all had ADD. Everybody had ADD. It was called hyperactive. Every one of his, have you ever heard a kid go, I hear every single word you say. I'm focused. I'm looking right in the eye. I have an attention surplus. So we all have ADD. We all have deficit of ADD. This conversation, we've had ADD. We go this way, that way, this way, that way.
Right.
It's a natural progression of life. This is authentic. This is real.
I love that.
So I wanted to tell you, this is what I also coach. I have another client I coach, and oh my God, this guy's great. Another great experience I gave him. He flies out, and my ex owns the ex-girlfriend owns the Lakers, so he meets her, and he's front row with all these actors, at the Lakers game. So I'm not saying if you're my client you get all these little gifts, but if you are a friend, which these clients have become, you experience things with me because you are now working down the authentic path.
Right.
And the authentic path is laughter is I have an acronym. It's love. So if you want to break the ice with someone, I have people list the things that you love. So now if you're selling real estate or whatever you do in life, you want an icebreaker, just express what you love. It's your experience. So I'll say, I love when my children are asleep, the look on their faces, and I go and I check on them. I love that moment. I feel unbelievable. And anyone with children, bam, they're your friend. Yeah. Because they're going, I love that too. They have that innocent face, and I see them. It's so gentle. It's so beautiful. It's so divine. So I say, start with love, acceptance, and attachment. What do you accept? What are you not accepting? And what are you attached to? If you can let go of those things, you start to have freedom, you start to have surrender, which leads to beautiful wonderment in the world and leads to more laughter. And then what do you use for understanding and understand what makes you unique? What makes you unique? What are the things that, what are the habits that you have? You list the habits you have and what you do not understand with life. What are your frustrations? And that you share with others. Again, it's magnetizing.
Yeah. It's being authentic. Yes. It's being real, and not just the buzzword. Exactly right. Not the buzzword. That's what I mean. Even going through this, through our industry for like the self-help and spiritual industry so long, I've been at it for years, and it's like there was so much fake BS. It was like everybody was perfect on the stage, gurus.
Oh my God!
Like I have someone that I work for. I can name two or three right at the. I won't name their names, but two or three really big names in the industry on stage. They're this amazing thing, performer, all love, and like everything's beautiful. And then behind closed doors, they're cheating on their wives. They're like, poking their marketing director. They're like they're like being a total douche to people when they're off the stage.
Absolutely, completely hypocritical.
And that is not, and that's why people like Wayne Dyer and Michael Beckwith and
and that's what I said before.
They're
about
so
you
beautiful.
Share your
They're beautiful.
Experience. They all have great book titles.
Yeah.
This is what I noticed when I go to these gatherings. They all have a great book title. It's absolute BS. And it's all these theories and all this, academia. Share your experience. What happened to you? We had a transformation. I want to hear a transformation, a personal transformation. They'll never share that. They'll talk about how you do it. They won't tell you how they did it.
Right.
And that's another reason why I left that group as well.
Yeah.
Is I watched what they did with Mickey. You can't be in all these things that you're teaching. How about forgiveness? How about openness? How about kindness? How about you're not exercising anything that you say that you are? So you're absolutely full of it. So I had to leave that group as well.
Yeah, no, it's funny.
A group start. It's like a big circle jerk. Was that too dirty, folks? It's a big circle jerk. And everybody's, I did a speech one time I said, listen. I said, you got overused words here. I said, can we come up with another word for amazing? Can we come up with that?
I say it amazing too much myself. I got to get over that. I don't like it.
Well, we had. I
use epic. I like epic a lot, but we'll change.
I do. I like epic.
New ones.
Yeah. But just find some new ones instead of just passing the same old crap around. I said, how about we say, I feel very Lynn Rose, because Lynn Rose is an old friend of mine. She's always amazing.
Wow? I'm a wow factor. I love Lynn. She's a dear friend of mine too.
But then actually people were walking around, I feel very Lynn Rose, so so everyone smiled and laughed at that because that was a truth. And you all know that Lynn says I'm amazing. So we all know that she's very positive. So we had fun with that while I was basically saying to them, yes, let's keep exploring new words, new territory and all that. So I'm going to tell you the other acronym is G is for gratitude. You got to be in gratitude. You'll never be centered unless you're grateful. H is the big one for laughter is humility. List your rumbles, stumbles, crumbles, and fumbles. It's the best. People relate to you more than your successes. They want to hear your failures, and I have plenty of them. So I have plenty of failures, including divorce. But you share those things that people relate to you. So the T is for truth. There's nothing better than the truth. You tell your truth. You tell not your perspective on truth, your take on truth that came to you from a source that's making money from changing your mind. It's your truth. Your experience is your truth. Yeah. Okay. E is ego. Do your best to say goodbye to your ego. And the R, it used to be rejuvenation, but the women said that sounds like vaginal rejuvenation, so I had to change it. It's now reboot, refresh, reclaim, all those words, and there you have a great life. Tons of laughter in your life, tons of joy, tons of fulfillment.
Can you send that to me, or I'm gonna have to go back and listen to that because I like that.
No, you got to take my course.
Oh damn! Shit.
You're my next client. You're the only one listening right now. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
I probably half your audience went away when I cursed. I dropped the bomb and that blew them out.
I like that. Yeah, I was thinking that the show, I feel like the show lost its virginity tonight, and that's actually a good thing. You know what I mean?
That is a good thing, because guess what? You will always remember us.
Yeah.
You'll always remember us.
Well, because the thing is, because you brought something on that's totally true. And that is like, I have found at times too, like sometimes I'll have conversation. I always bring the joy. Like that's just my shit too. Like I like to have fun. I'm irreverent, but my heart is very, very, very pure. And I've done a lot of work, like 30 years worth of work. So, there's a lot of good stuff there. But I think what I love is, some people they're too serious about it. They get caught up and I find myself like, if I'm with that person, I'm like, how can I make them smile? How can I make them, come out of their shell a little bit so they're not so serious, so we can play with it as well. But I'll find myself.
What if you took laughter? What if you took laughter seriously?
Yeah, I do.
What if you? Yeah, I'm saying anyone. What if you took laughter seriously? You went, oh boy, I better increase my laughter today, or I'm not going to have a good day.
I haven't got my 10,000 steps of laughter in today.
Yeah, I have a new way to start your day. I have to run, but I'm going to tell you a way to start your day.
Yeah,
it's something I came up also with Bethy, because Bethy was very caught up here, a lot of mind stuff. And by the way, she's had an amazing experience, You know, we worked together. Her daughter was completely out, and now the daughter actually moved in with her, an adult daughter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy, some of these results, because she keeps working it, working it. She shows up in the Sangha now. She's open to more laughter. She gets more laughter in her life. That's my prescription: is turn off the news, share your sitcoms, share your movies. Like I said, share a best scene in a movie, and every single time, if you do that, so you don't have to write your comedy material. Laughter doesn't know the difference, by the way. Laughter is laughter. It doesn't know the difference if you're just like working out. Your body doesn't know if you're on a Stairmaster or on mountain climbing. It doesn't know. It just knows what it's getting, and that's the same with laughter. Amazing. So it's extraordinary, these transformations that have been made from, and then this is what she inspired me to do. I already do a thing called guided laughitation. You might have seen that in my speaker reel.
Yeah.
Commandtheroom.net, by the way. So I take people through these guided laughitation where you express out loud the things that are paining you, you know, things that you're in fear of. You say it out loud. Then when you're finished laughing, you realize, oh my God, this is all meaningless. So I have a new thing called chuckle chatter. This one's simpler, where you just chuckle while you're talking. So from now, we're going to say goodbye here by just chuckling. Today. What's that?
Well, hold on. Before we do that.
I was on with AF.
That crazy.
We couldn't say the F word.
I was on with the shoe.
It's in the title of his show, but we have to keep it an initial, even though we're adults.
Oh my God. And I had Craig Shoemaker who came on here and took every word. He made George Carlin's words look like they were primary words. Oh my God. However,
that's a brief chuckle chatter.
I love it.
You check in with yourself. How does your skin feel?
Elevation.
It's unbelievable. Whoop, elevates us all.
Couple quote things. Number one, just want to say thank you for taking away our show's virginity. I appreciate you, and I just want to reflect back to you that I think the fact that you're so funny and you've become so conscious with it is like such a beautiful thing to witness. And there's no coincidence that we've reconnected, because you're like one of my homies and I want to make sure we stay connected. Will you come back on again like soon? Because I think we could go for another 2 hours. I feel like we need a Rogan podcast right now.
Absolutely.
We got to have a part two. I wasn't
in the middle of, I'm literally in the middle of moving my house.
Okay, and this is real life, people. This is not fancy endings. This is real life. Okay, cool. So just want to tell you that. And where can people find you? Where can people find you?
I'm gonna start. I'm gonna wrap it up by starting packing.
Yeah, you can pack as we're leaving. Yeah,
as we're leaving. Find me CraigShoemaker.com. It's Shoemaker, not Schumacher. You make shoes. You don't mock shoes.
That's true.
Unless they're Crocs.
Yeah,
those you can mock.
Then you can mock.
Okay, yes. Yeah, so the holes are so your self-esteem can slip out of the holes. But anyway, that's how to. And commandtheroom.net. Enlightened Up podcast. Please go there. I have great guests on there. And last week was Kenny Loggins.
I know. I was going to ask you. You got to introduce me to that guy, because he's one of my favorite people.
Yeah, he's awesome. We used to tour together when I was a youngster. But anyway,
he's awesome.
Go check those things out so we can all live an enlightened life and a laughter-filled life. And this is what I want to. This is my purpose till my dying days. I'm going to help people find their own sense of humor, sense of self. And there you go. So
awesome.
Let's do it together.
And what's, if you have one word or one piece of wisdom to help people how to free themselves to be themselves, what would it be?
Surrender. You got to surrender the old ideas. That's what in the Wizard of Oz, they put in the skywriting, surrender Dorothy. And once she surrendered her ideas on fear and ideas, she helped her friend. She was of service to her friend. And then all the fears went away at being of service. If you surrender these old ideas, the old ideas that other people are in charge of you, there are leaders of you. You are your own leader, but you have to surrender first to get to that. So surrender your ego, surrender your thoughts that you've been programmed to have. Once that surrender takes place, it's amazing. So then you become the real you. You become the creator that the creator made. You become creative. You become enthusiastic. They call me, my son calls me Opto for being optimistic. Opto. That's my nickname, is Opto. So Opto, I'm only that way. I grew up horrible situation.
Yeah.
I was kidnapped when I was 13 by a serial pedophile, and no one protected me. My dad left when I was born. He became a cult leader. My mom was never around. I had to make my own way. I had no money. We were completely poor. I had no shower until I was in college, so a dorm shower. Wow. I mean, it was just this life of lack and limitation and scarcity and being afraid. And all of that turned into this, where I have this abundant, amazing life filled with people. You know, I'm hanging out with, you know, last week, because of what I put out there, I'm invited to Dave Chappelle's house for a hang with Chris Rock and Jimmy Fallon and Jon Stewart. It's the only reason is, of course, I got talented. You know, I did very well in life, but I gave them all a break too. I was Dave Chappelle's first headliner that he opened for at 15.
Wow.
Jimmy Fallon, I let him do a guest set for Saturday Night Live, and he got the show that night. You know, Chris Rock, he used my audience to rehearse for the Oscars. So being of service to others, it come back years later. It doesn't matter. Don't have an agenda. Let go. Surrender your old ideas. Surrender your outcomes. And watch what happens. You live your life in a beautiful way.
Woo! That is a mic drop. That is a mic drop. Hang for a couple seconds. I'll meet you in the green room, and then we'll let you go.
Okay.
All right. So we love you. Keep shining your light. I believe in you. You are an infinite, beautiful, divine being, and we need you in the world to go shine your light. So much love. We'll see you next time. Peace out, yo.